Hello, I'm Joel Blackford with Beth Hesed Sabbath Fellowship. Thank you for joining us. We're virtual only, based out of St. Paul, Minnesota. The phone number works if you'd like to contact us. We do the philosophy of eschatology, not necessarily the news. Haller does the best job, John Haller, but we do the thought behind the thought, what you need to know as things change. What's your reality now? What's your existence going to be? We solve little pieces of Revelation each week. We're working on Revelation 13 primarily this week, and we're talking about what is life, but what is life considered if it's the image of the beast? What's that life? And what does the scripture talk about with that? What's forcing this is AI is becoming such a huge thing right now. This is just an interaction that Mark Biltz from El Shaddai Ministries had about 2 weeks ago with AI, where he asked the question of evidence of the Noah's flood. And AI came back and said, there is no evidence that Noah's flood happened as described in the Bible. It talks about geology, the archaeology. Okay, so fine. It just irritated most of the Christians in the world. So on the right hand side, you can see my review of this, and I typed it in, and they pulled it down, obviously. So Google and their AI monster pulled it down and said, no, we're not going to talk about that at all and irritate people. We don't believe that because, once again, programming is what drives this. This is all about the men that program, and some women, but mostly men, are programming AI to be godless. So you'll get that. Either way, it's a godless answer. Okay, so what's going to happen going forward? It's going to be bigger. AI is going to be involved with us. So this is an article from Daily Mail from July 6th of 2024. Tech prophet who predicted the iPhone years in advance makes alarming forecasts for coming years. So after 2029 on the right-hand side here, humans will begin to merge with machines. Dead people will come back as simulations, then as printed living bodies. That's the thought concept behind this image of the beast and possibly the mark of the beast, also from Revelation 13. He writes, eventually replicants may even be housed in cybernetically augmented biological bodies grown from the DNA of the original person. By the end of the 2020s, Kurzweil expects highly realistic, non-biological recreations of people, and then living bodies. Humans will move into artificial bodies more advanced than what biology allows, and that by the 2040s, it will be possible to make a copy of a person. That's Ray Kurzweil. Okay, so very interesting people. And so he predicted all of these things years ago. He's still thinking singularity is 2045. He's wrong. It's much sooner than that. And there are other things too. I can prove the end of the world based off, the six seal signs, which prove out to about 2040 max. Okay, but the 2030s are the big time frame, and other things, the economics issues, just there are many issues, and we'll discuss those today. So, what is the meaning of life? The meaning is really Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, and to love God, but also your fellow mankind. And Yeshua stated the same thing. So, what are we doing today? We're talking about AI. This happens to be a replicant there in the middle of a man that is living now, but he's created his own little replicant of himself. So we try to give you the Bible, we try to give you the prophecy, and give you some news that matches up with that. We do the philosophy of the end of days. We're Beth Hesed. So I do not like this guy. I mean, well, he's not dislikable, but his name is Brandon Biggs, and he does prophesying all the time, all day long, every day. And so, but he was right on this, so I have to cite it. And so he's not sure about Elon Musk at all, but he knows that Neuralink is a huge move forward in all of these things. I argue this is the number one point. That's the mark of the beast. Okay, it just seems like that's going to be the thing, the chip thing, chip in hands or foreheads, things like that. Brandon is saying 5G towers with the chips, with the Neuralink, with the Starlink satellites, with the drones and tracking systems, just a huge network that will force the cashless system. It'll cover the whole Earth and technology. You'll have, he's saying, Nephilim hybrid thinking, demons backing, say, El Elyon, which is Elon's nickname. I'll use it frequently today, okay? His family nickname. Demonic shadow behind El Elyon, that's what he's saying. He doesn't know Elon, and I don't either, but we just sense there's something strange about the technology that he's able to to develop so quickly, and no one's even close to him. No one's even close. So the tentacles of all things, El Elyon is going to see fallen angels, Nephilim. That's what we're going to see in the future. Okay. So that's Brandon again. I'm saying also there's an image of the beast, but the main thing is he said he saw in a vision Neuralink being used as the technology behind the mark of the beast. This is from Last Days. I don't have the date on it exactly, but you can find it if you want to. It's about Elon and things like that. The main thing is he's jumping into this stuff, and he does some other things that are very bothersome, which I would say make him a false prophet. But yet he was highly accurate on this, so maybe he's seeing things, and then in his own mind he keeps on saying, "I need to add to this. I need to add to whatever prophetic word or thing he's seen." That's the problem with prophecy. You need to keep your ideas out of God's mouth. If God says something or gives you something, that's all you say. That's it. Okay? So now we're dealing with the fact that in Revelation 13, we have the image of the beast and we have the mark of the beast. So let's run through. This is more based on the Greek version. It deceives the people living on earth by the miracles it is allowed to perform in the presence of the beast. And it tells them to make an image honoring the beast that was struck by the sword but came alive again. It also it was allowed to put breath, pneuma in the Greek. I'll show you that in the next slide, into the image of the beast, so that the image was of the beast could even speak, as it was allowed to cause anyone who would not worship the image of the beast to be put to death. Also, it forces everyone, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive the mark on his right hand or on his forehead. Okay, so that's coming. That's Revelation 13, 14 through 16. And so what I'm stating is that this pneuma is vague. This is the Greek, the pneuma only. And here it is. So they make an icon of this. That's vague also in the Greek, an image of the beast. In the Hebrew, it's going to be pesel, and I'll show you that. Or zelem, I assumed it would be in the oh goodness, in the Hebrew. Okay, but pesel is very intriguing that they went that direction on the Hebrew, and I'll show that in another slide. But the main thing is the beast and the wound and the sword and lived and given. Here it is, breath, pneuma, underneath the P thing in the middle of the page. Breath to the image of the beast, so that it also could speak, and the image of the beast could cause as many. Okay, very interesting, but pneuma, what does that actually mean? Breath, I mean, like it can breathe. So what? That doesn't really mean all that much. So I'm going to show you what this says in Hebrew and see what you think, okay? An icon is the image, just so you know again. Okay, so let's look at it in the Hebrew. And he seduced, and you can look at it on the left-hand side in the Hebrew, but I'm sure none of you read it. And he seduced. I'm going to state that that's vahasit, so that's and he incited, instigated, inflamed. That's a better translation of this than seduced, but there is some seduction in it also. Seduced the sons of man with his signs and wonders, and that is, let's see, signs and wonders. I don't have those marked out, but it's otot and some other word. And so, it's maftim. Okay, so just so you're aware of that in the yellow there on the left-hand side. I realize you're not reading Hebrew like I am, but it's otot is plural, and then maftim is moftim is just interesting words to be used for signs and wonders. So just be aware of that. I'm not going to explain those that much because the video isn't really about those characteristics. But anyway, and said to those who dwell on the earth that they should make a carved image for the animal that had, I'm sorry, it's underneath my little marker here, so I can't read it. It had and it was healed, okay? And to him was given to give the carved image of the animal a ruach and a nefesh. We'll explain those two to you, okay? This is from the Hebrew, and it's there on the light blue. You should see it, ruach and then va-nefesh, okay? So I want to explain both of those terms to you, and I will in the next slide. But let me just finish this out. Okay, so it was able to speak and make that whosoever does not want to pray to the carved image of the animal, that he may be killed. Okay, that he made for them all, the great ones and the small ones, the rich ones and the poor ones, the slaves, free ones, a sign on the right hand or on their forehead, so that no one is able to buy or sell unless he has the sign on his hand or on his forehead, or the name of the animal, or the name or the number of his name. Here's wisdom and understanding. Whosoever has insight needs to reckon the number of the animal, for this is the number of a man, and the amount will be found. It is 400 plus 200 plus 60 plus 6. So 666. So the Hebrew nails it right on the top. In the Greek, it's very confusing because one of the letters, it isn't a chi, it's a, oh goodness, now I'm blanking on the exact, it's, anyway, it's not a letter that we use in the modern Greek, so we don't understand it that well. So some people think it's 666, but it could be another, like a 606 or something like that. So in the Hebrew, it nails it, and it's there for sure. Talks about the sword wound. Breathe. So I'm looking way down on the right-hand side on D. Literally, breath can mean person. Not really, and I'll explain why, but close, real close. And he cites all sorts of interesting times when that breath word is used, nefesh, neshama, things like that. I'll give you lots of stuff for that, okay? So the main thing is it is more descriptive than just pneuma, which is just breath on its own. This is a ruach and a nefesh. And yeah, the next slide I'll show exactly what that means. Okay, so Pesel first is a graven image. And it's intriguing that the first citation in the Bible is Exodus 20, verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, pesel, or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above or in the earth beneath, that is in the water. And so basically, I'm just on the right-hand side here, I gave you all of Exodus 23 through 6. So basically, it's pesel, any kind of representation of anything in heaven above. So it's just intriguing that it does match up with that. I thought it would match up with the image, which is Genesis 1, 26 through 27, Tselem in the Hebrew, of Adam and Eve. So the image of God was put into Adam and Eve. No, this is more an idol. So it isn't a poor copy of Adam and Eve or humanity. No, this is an idol, no doubt about it. It's a graven image idol of some sort. So it does help you to understand it better in terms of the Hebrew and taking it back to the first reference. And first reference is really, really huge. And also Isaiah 42:17 is very intriguing. They shall be turned back. They shall be greatly ashamed that trust in graven images, that say to the molten images, ye are our gods. So I just wanted you to see that in context and realize that's what we're battling against at some point in time. A graven image, not an image of a mankind. We always thought it was going to be a human type of a thing. No, it's more of an idol. It's from Exodus 24. Okay, so this is from a friend of mine. I think he's one of the most brilliant people in Messianic thought today, D. Thomas Lancaster. He actually lives in St. Paul near me, and he preaches at Beth Emmanuel and First Fruits of Zion. So this is his article on spirit and soul, so that I can give you a really good feeling on the differences between spirit and soul, nefesh and neshama. Okay, then the Lord God formed man from the dust from the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. Genesis 2:7. God made Adam as a hybrid of spirit and flesh. Man possesses two souls, a divine soul and an animal soul. Divine soul is neshama, animal soul is nefesh. The divine soul is that pre-existent aspect of the soul, the breath of God, which he breathes into human beings. It is a portion of his own essence and it survives after death. I absolutely believe that. The verses back it up. And so, this is just good thinking, okay? The animal soul, the nefesh, is the human life force which animates the flesh. The animal soul provides our mortal vitality, our sense of self and sentience. The common word for the soul is nefesh, but nefesh is seldom used to refer to the immortal spiritual element of the divine soul. Instead, nefesh refers to a person's psyche, the self, the personality. The mystics describe the nefesh as a man's thought, speech, and action. Even animals have a nefesh. Yes, they do, and it's biblical. Its inclination and appetites are carnal, material. They're programmed. If a bear eats you, it's because it was programmed to eat you, okay? It's carnal, it's material, it's selfish. Its influence over man leads us to selfishness, lust, greed, and sin. But that is a program. If your dog is that way or your cat is that way, that's the way they were programmed, okay? Blame God, but don't, because you love your dog or cat. Okay, the animal soul can be harnessed and brought under the influence of the divine soul and into the service of God. Okay, great. Thanks, Daniel. The Hebrew word for breath in Genesis 2:7 is neshama. The same word is commonly used in Judaism to refer to the divine soul. The neshama entered Adam as a breath of life. God breathed into him. The divine soul is the source of our innate thirst for God. It's our way to connect to God. The apostles refer to it as the Spirit, not to be confused with the Spirit of God. So there's God's Spirit, that's the Holy Spirit, but there's also our spirit, and that could be that pneuma word, but it is definitely neshama in this case. According to apostolic theology, the spirit within man is dead until it is quickened by salvation and brought to life and communion with the Holy Spirit. Okay? To enter a human being, the neshama must leave its abode in the heavens and inhabit an earthly body. That is backed up by Revelation 6, 9 through 11. Okay, something's up in heaven. We argue it's a neshama, and it must leave there and come down, inhabit the earthly body. Then when it dies, it goes back up again. Then the nephesh, the personality, and the neshama, the divine soul, bind together. I call it like jellos, but remain distinct. At death, it perishes within the body, but the neshama returns to its source. And this is stated in the Ecclesiastes. Then the dust will return to the earth as it was, and the spirit will return to God who gave it. Okay, that's how it works out. And we have tons of references in the Bible that prove this. Both the nephesh and the neshama are mentioned in Genesis 2:7. Then the Lord formed man from the dust and breathed into his nostrils the breath and the neshama of life, and the man became a living being, a nefesh kai. Okay, so basically this is from Torah Club 5, pages 15 through 16 from Daniel Lancaster. Thank you, Daniel, for that. Wonderful. This is my contention. These are Joelisms. God scoops up the dust, the Adama, breathes neshama into it to give us life kai, to become a living being, a living nefesh, okay, nefesh kai, and then at some point in time we die, when the various jello-like components separate until the resurrection. Humans seem to have a ruach, a spirit, as opposed to God's spirit, ruach hakodesh. Both words are feminine, which is like a mantle that is offered and may be taken back for certain reasons or seasons. The other thing is, based on Eliyahu and Elisha, Elisha has a double portion of God's spirit on him. So he still has his neshama, he still has a nefesh, obviously he's a living being, but he has a double portion of God's spirit. So keep that in mind. And also Isaiah 11 talks about 7 spirits and names them. The word nefesh occurs 754 times in the Hebrew Bible. The first 4 times nefesh is used in the Bible is used exclusively to describe animals. Genesis 1:20, sea life. Genesis 1:21, great sea life. 1:24, land creatures. 1:30, birds and land creatures. Nefesh is used as a description of man in Genesis 2:7 the first time. Okay? And Job 12:7 through 10 offers a distinct similarity between ruach and nefesh. In his hand is the life, the nefesh of every living being, and the spirit, ruach, of every human being. Okay, so there's a separation, distinct similarity, though. Very interesting. Okay, so let's test my theory. Life. Who can live and not see death? Who can save himself, his nefesh, from the power of the grave? That's Psalm 89:48. That works. Judah speaking. Now, therefore, when I come to the Eved Avi, the Na'ar, Benjamin, the young boy, will be not with us, seeing that his nefesh, Judah's soul, is bound up in the nefesh of the Na'ar, Benjamin's soul. That's Genesis 44:30. So what I'm arguing is our souls can be intertwined with kids, spouses, pets, but our neshama remains separate and intact. So that's why you love your pets, because your nefesh can be bound with another person's nefesh or another dog's nefesh. And so, but it doesn't work on the neshama level. It just doesn't. That is our relationship to God and makes us different than the animals, okay? So then let's continue on down to Ecclesiastes. I said in my heart, my lev, as for B'nai, the sons of Adam, Ha Elohim, test them, that they might see that they themselves are like the behemoth, the animals. For B'nai Ha Adam and the behemoth share one and the same mikre, fortune. As for one dieth the other. Yea, they all have one breath, ruach echad, so that Adam hath no advantage over the behemoth, for all is chevel, meaningless. Yeah, that's how Ecclesiastes is written, meaningless. Chevel. All go to the same makom achad, and all are afar, dust, and all return to the afar again. Who has the knowledge, the da'at, of the ruach b'nei aha adam that goeth upward? So who knows? if Ha-Adam, the sons of Adam, go up, and if the Ruach Ha-Behima, the animals that goeth downward into the Ha-Aretz. Okay, so this is very interesting from Ecclesiastes 3:18 through 21. Finishing up, let's test my theory some more. My son, obey your father's command, the Torah. Don't abandon your mother's teaching, the Torah again. For the mitzvot, loving, living the Torah, which is Jesus, is the lamp. The Torah is the light, and reproves that discipline are the way of life. Okay? So the neshama of Adam is the ner, the light of Hashem, searching all the innermost beten, your second brain. So basically, your second brain operates through the light, and you just know things based on the light of God. So that's Proverbs 20:27. And I'm going back and forth between the complete Jewish Bible and the Orthodox Jewish Bible, just because sometimes it's stated better for what I want to say. Death. At the point of death, the nephesh that sinneth, it shall die. That's Ezekiel 18:20. Or ever the silver cord be loosed. I'm saying that sounds like DNA. DNA seems to be the silver cord. Does it loosen when we die? I don't know. Or the golden bowl be broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the bore at the cistern. Then shall the afar, the dust, return to the ha'aretz, the earth, as it was, and the ruach shall return to Ha-Elohim, who gave it. Ecclesiastes 12:6-7. So Moses, the servant of Hashem, died there in the land of Moab by the mouth of God. God kissed Moses to death by taking away his neshama. That's Deuteronomy 34:5. That's from the Chumash, the Stone Edition. So just keep this in mind. There's a difference. Sometimes God states it one way or the other way, but it's very similar. Okay? So the final opinions: life is a revelation of God to the world, whereby some of the primordial light is veiled under the throne of glory for a time and a season until it is completely can shine forth. Yeshua is the Torah, which is a light veiled from Christianity. Likewise, the Torah is Yeshua, which is a light veiled from Judaism. Okay? He was fully God and fully man. Humans and animals are not God. All we know about life is what has been described in the Bible. Life is for humans. Life for humans is really Jesus, Yeshua. And for animals, well, okay, so here's my story. Back in 2014 on Av 9, which is General Green's funeral. I'll cite that in a couple more slides here. My dog Jack died, and I prayed beforehand, and it was bothersome for me to lose my little puppy dog. So anyway, Jack died, and I prayed and I said, when he dies, would you allow me to see what happens? And God allowed me to watch the light sparkles go up from him and not down. So I believe there will be animals in heaven, your pets, your loved ones, things like that. So here's the final conclusion now that you have heard everything. Fear God and keep his mitzvot, commandments. This is what being human is all about, for God will bring judgment to everything we do, including every secret, whether good or bad. Ecclesiastes 12:13-14. So that was my blog from years ago. I used to write blogs all the time. This is 2014, so that's a decade old. And so you can go to joelblackford.blogspot and see that. You just need to find blog number 300 from that particular date. That was my What is the Meaning of Life blog. Okay, so now let's get to the storyline. Wow, we're already at 23 minutes. Neuralink from October 25th of 2024. Neuralink rival says eye implant restored vision to blind people from Wired. Okay, Max Hodak, CEO of Science and former president of Neuralink, first saw a video of a blind patient reading while using the implant. He was stunned. It led to the company, which he founded in 2021 after leaving Neuralink, but don't worry, he's still connected with Elon. So they're called Blindsight. Okay, very interesting. That's Messianic people. Dubbed the Prima, the implant consists of it's a chip, okay, and the retina, and it's an 80-minute procedure, acting like a tiny solar panel. That works too. So it will improve your eyesight possibly to 20/160, but some can get to 20/63 acuity using the implant's built-in zoom and magnification feature. Wow. Okay, so that's Wired magazine talking about what Elon is working on. This is Messianic people. So on the left-hand side at this, some of the Pharisees said, this man is not from God because he doesn't keep Shabbat. The parents said this because they were afraid of Judeans, for the Judeans had already agreed that anyone who acknowledged Yeshua as the Messiah would be banned from the synagogue because he restored healing to a blind man from birth. So the verses that match with that are Isaiah 42, 5 through 7. Thus says God Adonai, who created the heavens and spread them out, who stretched the earth and all that grows in it, who gives breath neshama to the peoples on it, and spirit ruach to those who work on it. Okay, I Adonai called you righteously. I took hold of you by the hand. I shaped you and made you a covenant for the people, and made you a covenant for the people to be a light for the goyim, so that you can open blind eyes. Messiah, free the prisoners from the confinement, those living in the darkness from the dungeon. Isaiah 42, 5 through 7. Very interesting. Messianic. Everybody knew that the disciples couldn't heal blindness from birth. Yeshua could all day long. So now I want to cite that El Elyon is the nickname, the family nickname for Elon Musk. And it's used about 7 times in the Bible that I've found. First in Genesis 14 over Melchizedek, El Elyon. Genesis 14:22. Later on there, Abraham uses the name in an oath to the king of Sodom. 78:55 of Psalm, the name appears in this form, and then it is Lord, but that is Yud He Vav He El Elyon in Psalms 7:17 and 47:2, and then 57:2 and 78:16 use God, Elohim, El Elyon. Very interesting. Just cite that because Elon is operating like he's the Messiah, but he's not going to be the false Messiah or the Messiah for that matter either. But he is operating in that mode. So just be aware of that. That's where I'm pushing. And that's why I had to explain to you spirit and soul so intimately. Okay. So getting back to Kurzweil says that we're about to enter the 5th epoch of intelligence, where man merges with machines triggered by the arrival of human level AI and brain chips like Elon Musk's Neuralink. Kurzweil believes that the years after 2029, human intelligence will multiply millions of times over the human beings connecting directly to machines. He writes, key capabilities in the 2030s will be connect the upper ranges of the neocortices to the cloud, which will directly extend our thinking. In this way, rather than AI being a competitor, it will become an extension of ourselves. It pushes God out of our lives. The singularity is coming, and it's a matter of when it hits, but it's ramping up fast, people. I'm saying it's about 18 months away. Okay, so blind sight is Elon Musk in God mode. Do you see that on the lower left-hand side? That's what people are saying. It's the singularity. It's replacing God, and so he's trying to act like the Messiah. Trust me. But the mark and the image of the beast are coming because Elon is working on it. So now I want to get into some stuff that kind of is intriguing and related to this, okay? So this is my first reason why the Lily system matches up with where we are right now. This is an occult video called I Pet Goat 2, and you've got the goat, which is like Azazel from Leviticus 16, and like demons. And so this, you can see there Heliofont, the CG Bros, and it's old. It's from 2012. Okay, so the first character is Lily, and she's there during an eclipse. The trap barbed wire, it reminds me of Lily being Israel, and this being Gaza, the West Bank, or near her in the barbed wire and things like that. So it does relate to where we are right now. Then they have a scene later on of the G7 where the apple falls from her lap, and that G7 seems to match up with what we're doing. G7 in June of 2024 on Shavuot met. Just very interesting. They know they're hitting their marks, okay? And then G7 surprise. Obama is surprised by the apple opening up and turning into either a lily or a lotus. But I want to state the appearance of a lily, okay? And so this is intriguing. I'm just going to hit some sections there on the left-hand side that are by the arrow in the middle. Okay, so the Lord has revealed to him from the Bible, which I've been also witnessing in my Illuminati movies, commercials, and music videos. The video's plot leads to the pages on Daniel 7, among other places, according to the thread of messaging that is immediately relevant when the public's perception of Obama has changed from he's intellectual to he's a fool. A Luciferian spell that has been in preparation for thousands of years will be cast that involves the office of the president. Well, okay, so this is written many years ago in 2014. What I want you to say or see is that Obama is going to step in And I have 2, 3 witnesses to this, that he will be a world power leader. He will be very, very important as we go forward. I'm saying that back in 2012, and when this video came out, that seems to be Obama's reelection and also the time the third seal opened up during the summer of 2012, based on the prophecy that I was a part of. Okay, so this is that video again, IPEC Go 2, where you have what seems to be the Antichrist floating along through the lilies or the lotuses. It doesn't matter because they have to have the appearance of lilies. Okay, and it's possible that the beast system could start in 2027 based on 2012 plus 15 water lilies in the picture. That's what they're saying. They're giving us predictive programming, obviously. My second reason for this is the Royal Order of the Lily from the Guillotine HD from Rebecca Sterling in the video series found on David Strode, A Voice Crying in the Wilderness. And she cites how this seems to be the beast system moving forward. And it seems to be similar to what Elon is making. Okay. And so it's point number 3 is that the Antichrist mom supposedly likes lilies. And so I want to read from Revelation 17, 2-6, which is the kings of the earth went, well, no, I want to read the left-hand side. With whom the kings of the earth commit adultery, and those whom she makes drunk with her wine. So he brought me to the wilderness, and there I saw a woman who sat on an animal whose appearance was like the appearance of lilies, and was full of names of reproach. And he had 7 heads and 10 horns, and the woman was clothed in red garments, and with the appearance of lilies, and upon her there was much gold, and goodly stones and gems, and there was a golden cup in her hand, full of uncleanness, and on her forehead was written the name of the secret of the great city Babel, and the mother of harlots and uncleanness on the earth. And so basically she became she became drunk on the blood of the set apart ones. That's the guillotine time. And the blood of the testimony of Yeshua. So these are the ones that are the set aparts, the kedoshim, I'm blanking on the Greek term for it right now, but bottom line is that's where things are going to, based on 3 references. Again, Rebecca Sterling, the strange video, IPEC Goat, and then the third thing is from the Hebrew version of Revelation, which seems to describe this lily thing occurring, the lily system. And it could be in the eyeball like that, because that's what Elon is making right now. Is that the mark? I don't know. Anyway, the main thing is that's what's coming. And this is what Rebecca wrote or created about the Royal Order of the Lily. I'm losing my voice. Here, let me take a drink of water. So you can pause it and take a peek and read whatever you want from this. So the main thing is this is what Rebecca Sterling created many, many years ago. Okay, she saw that vision in 1999. And then keep in mind the 10 horns from Revelation 17 are really the big tech billionaires. And even Manu Gonzalez and Gary Stearman agree with me. So they are building the UN databases right now. Marie Madeleine La Engel said that's the way things come clear, all of a sudden. And when you realize how obvious they've been all along, the U.S. presidents since Nixon seem to be the kings, not the horns. From unique lineage, the places are kings' heads on mountains, Mount Rushmore. Okay, so Gates is creating a new religion for humanity. And they're all budgeting big dollars for AI because they know that's where things are going. They call it the intelligent age, the time for cooperation. That's the World Economic Forum. And what is their moniker? It's an eclipse. Very interesting that they're using that. Okay, so this is all happening fast. It could happen in 18 to 24 months. Okay, so we're coming into the election now, and I want to run through what's going on here as we kind of move into a very long video. But Trump will win, okay? And Trump will win, and then chaos will start after that. I'll tell you my prediction of when I think it'll happen. Harris is really a type of the Babylonian whore, okay? And so you'll see chaos from the center of America. That's based on Rebecca Sterling's comments about it, what she saw, and from Michael Boldea, and from his grandfather, Dmitry Duduman. And so it just seems like after the election, I'll give you the date in just a little bit here. So American discord is far from over. So yeah, praying at home might be illegal under Scott's abortion law. Campaigners fear. Wow. So what I'm telling you is that based on the Olympics, they're telling us beheadings should start on Cheshvan 10, which we just started Cheshvan a couple of minutes ago. I'm on Sunday right now. I'm blanking on what day this is. The 3rd? Yeah, the 3rd. And so Cheshvan 10 will be the 11th then of November. And that should be the time that things occur. That's right after the election. So about 6 days after the election, you should start to notice horrible stuff. Okay, so where are we? We're in the birth pangs. We are not in the tribulation. We are not in the Great Tribulation. I'm telling you that El Elyon is healing blindness. That's a messianic signal, okay? And it's going to get freakish as we move forward. I believe we're about 18 to 24 months away from the beast system. The image of the beast will have an animal soul. He will breathe. He will be animalistic. He will not be human. He will not have a neshama, as I stated, but he'll be close, real close. Elon wants to be the Messiah. He's not. The Satan will choose someone other than him. The Lily Beast system will be ruled by the 10 big tech corporations, and we're very, very close to that. And they're trying to agitate us. They're really trying to agitate us. So you work on you and your family and your loved ones. We're going to get married on a Rosh Hashanah, a Yom Kippur, a Sukkot of a future year. You'll need garments. You can't be naked. You'll need to wear clean clothing. It's a wedding. Get prepared for that. Thank you very much for your time. God bless. We'll see you hopefully in another week.